Hello, everyone, and welcome along. It's Betting Weekly Game Bet Match. It's the final time this week where myself and our senior handicapper, Sean Calvert, look ahead to tomorrow's action in the world of tennis. I'm over here in Dubai. I've been at the tennis in the Dubai Duty Free Championship all day today. Just back to the hotel. I'm delighted to say joining me to look ahead to tomorrow's action. Only one tournament we talk about is in Santiago in Chile, and it's certainly not chilly here where I am, but it's going to be a bit chilly where my friend Sean Calvert is over in London. Good afternoon to you, Sean.
Good afternoon. You had a good day?
I have had a day, long day. Have had a long day. I went and watched a couple of sets of first set of Talon Greek Spore against Bublik. I was impressed with Bublik, by the way.
He suddenly found some sort of bizarre resilience that he's never ever even suggested that he's had so far. I don't know what's going on there.
He faced set points in the set number one, smashed the racket, got code violation, and then come back and played really, really well. And also I think we've underestimated a lot of things here. I mean, there's two nations that are really, really heavily supported. One is the Brits. Obviously, a lot of Brits out here. There's obviously supporting Andy Murray, which we'll come on to in a minute. But there's an awful lot of Russians or Kazakhstanis. There's a lot of Russian support for the Russian players. So that's another factor as well that probably we didn't really highlight in the show earlier. But he had a big support on the court number one, which is definitely faster than the centre court.
It's hard to tell from the TV. You can't really get much noise coming from the crowd. Some one of the players, I can't remember who it was, they said they wished the crowd got into it more. I can't remember who it was, but it's not from the TV. You can't really hear much support going on.
It's not busy at all. I mean, honestly, you can have rows of seats to choose from.
I like that.
The Murray match today is really good, and in the other court, you could go wherever you want. The practice course, there's nobody here, but I was here on quarterfinal day last year, and it was really busy because obviously it's all four matches on centre court. They start at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, go all through the evening. So I think as the tournament goes on, it gets busier. And I was chatting to a local guy who is a Brit actually, who lives out here, and he reckons that people come here after work. So people go to work, then they come here in the evening. So the evening session tonight should be busier than the afternoon session. But I think a lot of people just socialise around the Irish area. Have a few drinks,
Yeah,
magicians,
it's that sort of sport, isn't it? The tennis, with a lot of places, it is a kind of a social event. A lot of people don't really know that much about tennis that go to the tournament. Some do, obviously, but a lot don't. And for a lot, it's like the social event of the year or of the month of the season, whatever. It's that's how it is with a lot of these tournaments.
Like me, going there, know nothing about tennis, go for the social. Do Stella on tap. Can't beat that. Cool, ice cold Stella, fantastic for that as well.
In the sunshine, it's not to be sniffed at, is it?
It was worth the entrance fee alone just for the Stella. Obviously, tomorrow I said at the front of the show there that there's three tournaments going along this week. One over in Acapulco, one here in Dubai, and one in Santiago. At the time of recording here, and it's 8 o'clock in the evening over in Dubai, 4 o'clock in London, which is 11 o'clock Eastern time over in the States. We only know 4 matches, so we can only concentrate on the tournament for tomorrow in Santiago over in Chile. And that is where all our attention for the show today, the final show of the week, will be over in Santiago. Head out, check to the Bet Rivers website. Tomorrow morning, you'll see the quarterfinal prices in Dubai and the matches over in Acapulco as well as the future markets. But at its current time of recording, the only 4 matches we can speak about are the second round matches over in Santiago on the clay event there, which is the weakest one of the week. It's the 250 event over in Chile. Okay, without further ado, let's go into some bets. Let's go into some analysis. Let's have a look at the best bets, all the stats that matter. That's what you come here for. That's what you want to hear. You don't want to hear about the travels. You don't want to hear about the t-shirts. T-shirts are going well.
They do. Did you wear one today?
I didn't wear one today. No.
Okay.
I only packed 2. I packed hedges for gardeners, which I will wear if Hercash gets to the final, and the other one
you will.
Hopefully, and the other one I packed was what was the other one I packed? Oh, yeah, Calvert and Celestino I packed. I was going to put the Hercash one in, but I thought we might get in trouble if I went up to him with it. He might not like it. So
I doubt he'd notice, to be honest. But yeah, I suppose I could see that point of view.
I thought, I'll leave it alone. So they're the only 2 I brought. But when they went through my bags today, customs coming out, he checked all my computers, checked the microphone, checked the lighting. They all wanted to look at the t-shirts. It's the talk of Dubai.
They checked all your stuff in your hotel room.
No, through passports.
Oh, through customs. I thought you meant today. Yeah. I thought somebody randomly turned up today to come and check.
It's the word on the street here. If you go down Jumeirah Beach, if you go down to Burj Khalifa, everyone's talking about these t-shirts.
I think you might be exaggerating by everyone.
Everybody. It's not everyone. It's the who's who of Dubai at
The
United Arab
select
Emirates.
few.
The select few. They all want it, and it's modelled very greatly by a few of our Instagram followers as well. One of our
Ah,
Instagram followers who won a T-shirt, put a lovely little Instagram of these out in the garden with his hedging for gardeners.
proudly sporting is best buy of the year, clearly.
It's free. It was a freebie.
All
Not
right,
best
then
buy. It's not a
best gift of the
competition.
year.
Best
Best
gift of the
gift of the
year.
year.
Okay.
Where are we? Santiago.
The post was good for him. He got it, no problem.
Well,
He got it, no problem whatsoever.
needless to say, I'm still waiting for mine. God knows what's happened to that. It could be absolutely anywhere in the British Royal Mail postal system. Who knows?
Oh, then nothing can go wrong with the British Mail postal system. It's the most trustworthy organisation in the world, isn't it, Sean? Surely.
Yeah, yeah. Google it, and you'll
Okay.
Google it if you're not in Britain. Google Royal Mail and see what you come up with.
Yeah. Let's move on to Santiago. As we said there, the first match we're going to talk about is Sebastian Baez up against Varillas.
Is it?
Um,
Right, okay.
is it? Oh,
It
have I
can
got it
be.
wrong?
It can be. Yeah, let's do that one if you
Well,
want.
it was the graphic that came through to me on that order, so I'm going to go with that order.
Okay.
So Sebastian Baez up against Varillas. Sebastian Baez is minus 360 with Bet Rivers. Varillas is plus 275. The spread here is 4.5. Varillas giving receiving 4.5 minus 118. Sebastian Baez minus 108. Minus 4.5. The total 20.5. Sebastian Baez obviously is in great form. Won in Rio last week. In great clay court form, 9-2 on the year. Varillas is not in great form. The Peruvian only 1-3 on the year. But Sebastian Baez, we talk about exhaustion, talking about tiredness. He went through the mill to win that tournament last week in Rio, and he could be a little bit shaky here. Minus 360, heavy favourite. Are we getting with the favourite, or is he a fade for you, Sean?
Yeah, these four matches are probably not the four that I would have picked out if I'd have been given a full sheet of about 16. That's for sure. I mean, Varillas has had a shocking time of it in the last 6 or 7 months with his win over Comisana yesterday. That was his first main level success since October, when he randomly had a good week at a tournament I was at in Antwerp. As you said, it could be a good time to be playing Baez after Baez won the biggest title of his career in Rio. But Baez has been given a Thursday start, and that tends to suggest he'll have enough time to acclimatise to the conditions. He's a former finalist and semi-finalist here the last 2 years. So it's a tournament he has gone well at in the past. Baez, the head-to-head isn't encouraging at all for Varillas. Baez won 7 of their 9, including the one here in Baez's opening match in 2022. So the head-to-head stats 107 to 93 in terms of service points won and return points won over the meetings that they've had. Baez won 11% more second serve points and won 45% of return points. So other than the fact that it might be fatigue, there's not a lot to really get me into Varillas here. The opening sets have been close, though. All of the last 5 have gone to 10 or 12 games. So given that it's Baez's opening match and Varillas has already had one, over 9.5 games, a slight plus money with Bet Rivers could be the value there, plus 104.
Just I'm going to ask you before we go on to the next game, talking about obviously this is a clay court event. How do you handicap totals on clay court events compared to obviously hard? It's obviously the slowest court of the on the calendars. The clay court events are always sort of lesser games than the others. And there's also like a jack-in factor, like a fold factor with South American players, isn't there? So if they go a couple of breaks down, there's not many of them really have to fight and the desire to go back and fight a little bit harder.
It's hot as well. It's
yeah.
It's 32 degrees. I probably should have mentioned that. It's 32 degrees. So yeah, it is. I'm always not that keen to go with plus games, plus 3.5, plus 4.5, because they can drop a set 6-1, 6-2, as you've sort of alluded to there, on the clay. I would prefer handicapping plus games on a quicker surface where you know that there aren't going to be that many breaks of serve on a sort of slowish clay court. I know this is at altitude, but you'd expect more breaks of serve. And you know, players can go on runs and players can sort of drop sets easily. And, you know, before you know it, you've got a 6-1 on your hands and, you know, the handicap's gone within the first set. So I'm never that keen to go on plus games on the clay, to be honest.
Yeah. Always check out the obviously services and clay court matches are always a little bit lower in the totals and obviously get bigger, higher price, but a lower line. You know, 9.5 is a sort of a consistent price in set 1, 10.5 on the hard court. So we're going for a lean. That's good. That will be a lean when it's sure it's not going to be an official pick.
Yeah, I mean, these are hard. These are really, really hard. I expect Baez will win that match. I expect he'll potentially win it with something to spare, but looking at the patterns of how their opening sets have gone, that's what led me to the sort of set one overs. It is altitude conditions as well, slightly quicker and the fact that Baez hasn't played a match, Varillas has played a match, it might be close to start with. That's why I've gone for the sort of set one overs lean, but I'm not sure I can see Varillas winning. It's just a lean, really.
Yeah, just the lean there on the totals. Baez, if he shows his form and he can recover from that win last week, the biggest win of his career against Rio, in Rio, sorry, he should be able to cover the spread here pretty easily. 4.5 against Varillas, who's in terrible, terrible form. The next match we're going to talk about here in Santiago is an interesting one for me. I was actually quite surprised when I saw the odds on this. I really was. It's Darderi up against Cerundolo. Just the Juan Marino. What's it? What's this? Juan Marino, is it? Juan Maria?
Manuel Cerundolo. Manuel.
Manuel Cerundolo. Darderi here, he come through a bit of a battle yesterday. And he must be, yeah. Well, I was going to say he must be absolutely shocked. I mean, I'm losing a little bit of time because I wake up in the morning and the matches, because of the time difference, it's a bit of a blur. I'm following what's going on over here, and I was checking on the other tournaments.
It's not easy. It's not easy when you're at a tournament. There's 2 other tournaments going on, and they're all in different time zones. It's very difficult to keep up with what's happening.
It is a little bit, but I saw the result come through, and obviously Darderi come through an epic match, 6-7, 7-6, 7-6. He won the first set. Again, who was he playing again? I can't remember.
I have Bagnus. This is how my luck's going at the minute. Lost in a 7-6, 6-7, 7-6.
Yeah, I think Bagnus got a bit of an injury after the set one. I think there was I read on Twitter that he had a hamstring problem. So Darderi come through against an injured opponent, but only edged it, and he's now minus 215 against Cerundolo, who's plus 170. Now Cerundolo played Darderi in Rio, didn't he? Like last week, I won 6-2, 6-2, and yet he's plus 170 to win this match. Seems a big price to me. The spread here is 3.5, plus 107 for Darderi, minus 137 for Cerundolo, and the total is a rather high 22.5 when you consider the epic battle that Darderi's come through with under minus 122 and over minus 105. I like this Cerundolo price here at plus 170. I'm loving the handicap. I'm loving the totals here. And the head-to-head is 2-2, but the fact that he played him last week in Rio and won 6-2, 6-2, and you can get plus 170, that's definitely caught my attention.
Yeah, he was tired. I think that's the 6-2, 6-2. He was very, very tired indeed. Darderi just
he's going to be tired here, isn't he? Surely
he is. I mean, I've been down so many blind alleys with this one. I must have spent about half an hour at least trying to just figure out what's going on here, because every time I go down one avenue, I get blocked off with it, and then I've had to go to somewhere else. It's not a pleasant one. I think this is the toughest one of the 4. As you said, well, both of them played tough 3-set matches on Tuesday in 32-degree heat, so they'll have been glad of the day off today. Again, you're questioning who's going to come out of the match the fitter. They both had really long matches. The problem that Cerundolo has had is he's struggled at main level since winning Cordoba at slight altitude in 2021. Since he won that tournament, he's gone 12-35 win-loss at main level. So he hasn't been able to back up that breakthrough win since. Now he's facing the current Cordoba champion, who also won the title as a qualifier. So there's a lot of parallels between these two. The 4 meetings that they've had, all incidentally, are finishing under 22.5 games. So that could be a possibility. If one of them is a lot more fatigued than the other one, then the unders has got a pretty good chance of cashing there, you would have thought. The head-to-head, as you said, is 2-2. That win, it did come less than a week, the win for Cerundolo over Darderi, less than a week after the Cordoba title, where he played 7 matches to win that title. Then he went to Buenos Aires. So I think there's a lot of fatigue in that win for Cerundolo. But Cerundolo does have the edge on their head-to-head in terms of the service points won and return points won totals, 107-93. So every time I started edging towards one player, I looked at some other stats, and it had me going the other way. For example, Darderi's got a good record against left-handers, won 10 of his last 12. And his last match was obviously against a left-hander as well, which is Bagnus. Having played 3 hours against a lefty, he'll be well prepared in the sort of patterns of play. I think ultimately, after everything I've said and everything I've looked at here, it's going to come down to fitness. It's who's the fittest on the day. But I certainly couldn't back Darderi. I'm in agreement with you in the sense that I couldn't back Darderi at these odds after another marathon that he's had on Tuesday. I've just written here tentative lean to Cerundolo. I think that's as far as I'm prepared to go in this one. This is quite nasty.
I've got a little bit more of a tentative lean. I've got a lean towards Cerundolo at plus 170. I think Darderi. I mean, I was scouring through social media when I wake up every morning to see what I've missed, and it did appear that Bagnus had a hamstring problem in set 1, and he couldn't put him away with ease. So that Cerundolo price at plus 170. And I love the fact that he played him last week. I know, even though he was injured, or even though he was a bit tired or exhausted, I still think a 6-2, 6-2 scoreline is a statement scoreline. I think plus 170 the following week is something that we should. I will probably bet Cerundolo at plus 170. Okay, let's move on to Munar against Ramos Vinolis. Ramos Vinolis is older than me and you, and he's been around for years. Jaume
Getting there.
Munar but Jaume Munar is minus 250. Ramos Vinolis plus 195. The spread 3.5. Munar giving up 3.5 minus 110. Ramos Vinolis minus 115. The total a very high 22.5 with over plus 104. They've met 7 times before, 5-2 for Ramos on the head-to-head, but a lot of those wins were a long time ago here. Plus 195. Can Ramos roll back the years?
He might. I mean, of all these 4, this is the one that I'm kind of most tempted with the underdog here. This is just about whether you think Ramos is still able to do it or not, ultimately. If he can find his old form, then he could be a hint of value here in this matchup. He's always gone well here, Ramos. He tends to go well at the clay events at altitude. His service points won and return points won total at this event is 104. That's better than Munar's 103, slightly. The head-to-head is very, very much in favour of Ramos. Service points won and return points won total 107 to 93 in favour of Albert Ramos, Ramos has won 43% of return points in this matchup, and obviously he's won 5 times out of 6. Munar's only win, incidentally, came in very, very slow, heavy conditions in Umag in a match that was played just 3 days after Ramos had played the Gestard final at altitude. And even taking that into account, it was close. I think Ramos was a break-up in the final set a couple of times, but sort of ran out of gas in the end. The problem is Ramos has looked recently like the years are finally catching up with him. But I suspect he'll fancy this at altitude in the conditions that he likes against an opponent that he's beaten many times. Yeah, Munar doesn't have that much in his game to really hurt Ramos if Ramos still has that energy in his legs and in his arms to keep doing what he does so well, which is just kind of not really missing much, putting a lot of pressure on the backhand, the patterns of plays. He's a real expert on a clay court, particularly at altitude. But can he still do it? That's the one and only question about this match. I mean, this is by far the biggest price that Ramos has ever been against Munar. So I would certainly be leaning towards Ramos. The thing that's putting me off is the fact that it's going to be 32 degrees again. I just wonder whether he's got the stamina to win another grind against Munar in 32 degrees. Don't know. If you feel like he does still have it, then I think this is a pretty good price. It's just a question of whether you think Ramos has still got it, whether he's got that energy left or not.
Can he do it on a hot Thursday night in Santiago? That's the question we need to find out.
A couple of years ago, he could. I don't know whether he can this time. If you think that he can, I mean, he played pretty well against Delien yesterday. You know, if he does still have it, then that's a pretty good price for Bet Rivers.
Yeah, head across to the Bet Rivers website, 29 different markets on that match and all the other matches. The order of play isn't known yet, so we'll see the timings on there. But you'll be able to watch live and bet live on Bet Rivers. You might want to play that one in running. Looks like a nice in running player if Ramos starts well, or even if he takes the first set, maybe take him at a nice price. And obviously, if you bet live on Bet Rivers, you'll be able to watch live as well. The final match tomorrow in Santiago is an all Chilean affair. Tabilo against Vera. Baez, minus 245 for Tabilo, plus 190 for Vera. Whereas Tabilo was sensational at the Australian Open. Brilliant form. He was the surprise package of the tournament, reaching the quarterfinals. Quarterfinals last 16.
Well, he won Auckland, didn't he? I think he bombed out in the first round of the Australian. He won Auckland.
Yeah, he won in his tournament coming into the hardcourt was fantastic.
Yeah,
but where you would expect him to do well would be on the clay. And his clay court form has been pretty woeful. And he's up against an opponent, a fellow countryman who's not in great form. Tabilo's 1-2 on the clay this year. Vera Baez is 2-4. Like I say, minus 245 for Tabilo, plus 190 for Vera. The handicap is 3.5, plus 102 for Tabilo, minus 3.5, minus 129 for his opponent. And the total is 22.5, minus 107. The head-to-head here, though, has made me perk up because Vera Baez, the outsider at plus 190, leads 4-0 in the head-to-heads. And all of them have been rather comfortable, including a win in a challenger last time out and in Rio this time last year, 6-4, 6-4.
Yeah, very good head-to-head. Perfect, in fact, for Barrios Vera. I mean, these two know each other extremely well. They're doubles partners this week. They've played doubles together numerous times. It's been quite a nice introduction to the tournament, actually, for Barrios Vera. He's already played one Chilean that he knows very well in Christian Garin in the first round, and he won that. But Garin was poor again, and he talked after the match, actually, Garin, about how he's still suffering with pretty much every injury you could possibly have. He listed about 5 or 6 different body parts that he's still um, struggling with, and he's just nowhere near the Christian Garin that we've seen in years gone by. So I wouldn't put too much stock in that particular win against a poor Garin. The head-to-head, as you said, it's got to be relevant. He's won for all 4. The last one was less than a year ago in the final of the Florianopolis Challenge. That's at sea level, not at altitude. But if you take the stats of those 4 meetings, it's very heavily leaning to Barrios Vera, 108 to 92 in terms of the service points won and return points won totals. Barrios Vera's won 13% more second serve points in the matchup, and he's won a very big 46% of return points. So Tabilo's lefty serve and lefty patterns of play have given him no real problems, which is slightly surprising because Barrios Vera doesn't have a particularly fabulous record against lefties. He must obviously enjoy playing Tabilo. I think it's perhaps because they know each other so well. He knows roughly what's going to come at him and when. And his backhand has stood up to the left-handed forehand really, really well. The other advantage he's got, obviously, is that he's had a match already, as we said, to attune to the conditions. Tabilo's not played for, well, at least a week now, hasn't he? Last time he played was against Saboth Wild, which was in Rio, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so advantage to Barrios Vera in terms of acclimatization to the conditions. The problem with Barrios Vera is he's struggled at main level. He was easily beaten by Cam Norrie, I think it was, last week in Rio. He beat him easily, Norrie. And his whole career at main level, 6-11 win-loss, and a service points won and return points won total of 94, which is not inspiring. But the fact that he knows Tabilo so well, very familiar with the patterns of play, he has that advantage of already having a match here. Set 1 to Barrios Vera is my lean here. That's around about 6-4, plus 150 with Bet Rivers, I think.
Yeah, very nice price. I'm not a massive fan of head-to-heads, and we've spoken many times on this show about the overlooking at head-to-heads. But when someone's winning 4-0 and in such a commanding fashion to get plus 190, them obviously, and they've obviously players that have grown up together. They know each other's game, and like you say, doubles partners as well. The fact he's beaten him 4 times, they've practiced, they know everything about him. It gives him a psychological edge here, and I think with Barrios Vera at some capacity is definitely the call here. So I like that plus 190 to win on the money line. I like the plus 3.5, and I do like that plus 150 on Barrios Vera to win the first set. So no official picks from Sean, just all leans.
You'll probably be pleased about that after the one I put up yesterday. Just got beat 6-1, 6-love. Cord has done me twice this week. He absolutely thrashed Kotov, and now he's absolutely thrashed Botic as well, 6-1, 6-love.
Well, he was. I don't know if you've seen the Instagram account. If you haven't seen our Instagram account at Because We Win, make sure you follow that. I got a selfie today with Sebastian Cord, and I give him a few tips on what he was doing wrong, Sean.
And was that what it was? Okay.
Yeah, I
there was money for Botic. He started about 2.6 from.
I don't think the market took into account that he spent 5 minutes listening to my advice. I think that's. That's it's all out there on the Instagram account.
That's probably why Corda went out a bit in the betting. They saw him talking to you, and they thought, "What's going on here?"
Well, when he have a look at his post-match interview, I think he might mention me in it. We'll see what happens. But anyway,
I don't think I can stand to look at Sebastian Corda. He's cost me a no insignificant amount in the last sort of 12 months or so.
That's what I said to him. I said to him, "You've cost us more money than any other player," and he took a selfie, a big smile. I give him a thumbs up. But
did he offer to hand any of the money back or not?
No. He said he did
buy a T-shirt at least. Did he at least buy a T-shirt?
Well, it's going to be a new Corda T-shirt coming out. The Corda range will be coming out when I get back over to the UK.
I'm definitely not wearing that.
The postman will definitely be not delivering that. Anyway,
postman can keep it.
You mentioned about Garin there being having a various amount of illnesses. Are you okay? Are you all right?
Well, these are actual physical injuries. Mine's just a virus which has proven kind of stubborn to shift. You
seem all right though. You seem a lot better, don't you?
Yeah, it hasn't completely gone. It's still knocking about, but yeah, it's just a gradual getting better process. It takes a while. I was um boosted, if you will, by the news that Lagan's got to the final of the spelling bee at
Wow.
school. He's got
Wow.
39 out of 40 correct spellings across 2 days.
Did he get given 39 of 40 Latvian women tennis players and
He doesn't know anything about
Karin
tennis.
Khachanov,
He knows nothing about
Davidovich
tennis at all.
Fokina?
No, he's not interested in that. The only reason he's
Well,
done well is because he's I've bribed him with V-Bucks for playing Fortnite, and now he's on it now. He's absolutely all over it. So he's in the final of the spelling bee, which is fabulous.
amazing. I've said all along that boy takes after his mother. Congratulations, brilliant. The other thing before we wrap up, Sean, Andy Murray, I watched him today.
Yeah.
I actually done a little video on the Instagram account and the Twitter account. I actually bet Umber -3.5, and it was quite sad to see. Actually, he was moaning, he was complaining about every point. He
He always
clearly
does.
got through it. Yeah, but I mean, it was really like it was heavily breathing. He come to it looked like a great boxer coming to the end of his career, and it was no surprise after that he turned around and said that in the summer he's gonna retire.
Oh, he
Looked like
confirmed that, did he?
well, he more or less said it in the press conference
It's
after
got to
this.
be
Will be
Wimbledon, hasn't it?
yeah, I think so. It was quite sad to see, but just your thoughts immediately after that. I mean, Andy Murray, for me, I think he's the greatest British sports person we've ever had. I really rate him that highly,
Yeah.
and but it was just quite such a sad thing to watch him today.
Yeah, I mean, to get to number one in the world in the era that he did it, you know, people kind of overlook it and say, "Oh, he only won a couple of Grand Slams, whatever." But to win anything, to become number one in the world when you've got Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic all at their best as they were at that time, and for Andy Murray to get to the heights of world number one, that ironically, that's probably what kind of almost ended his career in a way because he had to play a ton of tennis, didn't he, to get to that number one? He played pretty much every tournament going. And then he got injured after that, he's done amazingly well to get back to top level tennis with a metal hip. Let's be honest. Who
Mm.
else would even have carried on their career after that? I can't imagine it would be many. It would be a tiny percentage of players that would continue to play on because he loves tennis. He loves playing the sport. He loves challenging himself against the best. It's always sad when you see a player kind of decline like that. It's a shame for him because it was all that physical, that injury, wasn't it? It's not like he's gradually declined his level over the years or whatever. Yeah, very very sad. And I agree with you. What a fabulous representative for Great Britain he's been over the years.
Yeah, tremendous, and it was sad to see, but what an unbelievable career! It looks like he's going to bow out this summer. We'll have you covered. Just remember, you can follow us on our socials, Instagram and Twitter Because We Win. I'm still in Dubai for the remainder of the tournament. You better follow my action over here. I'll be giving you some updates on the tennis. We obviously couldn't talk about the quarterfinals here, but I'll give you my thoughts tomorrow on the quarterfinals when we know who plays who at the last 8 stage. I know Sebastian called us through very
Yeah.
convincingly. We know, and also you can download this podcast, Betting Weekly Game Bet Match, on your preferred podcast provider, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel, Betting Weekly Studios. Not only do we have the best tennis content for betting purposes, we also have the best soccer content as well. The Premier League is back tomorrow, the show, and they'll be on that as well, and also the European soccer as well as that. And Sean, I think this is it for us. You'll be traveling on Monday when I return.
That's right. I'm off to LA and then on to Indian Wells. Yeah, the draw there is going to be tricky, I think, if rumors are correct that they're doing it on Tuesday. I don't know why they would do it on Tuesday, less than 24 hours before the start of the tournament. If that is correct, then it's going to be very, very tight for us to do anything, isn't it?
Yeah.
I can't imagine there'll be many prices much before the matches start.
No, obviously next week it's Masters 1000 or ATP 1000 event, which means that the tournament starts on Wednesday. So we usually come on a Sunday and give you a futures picks. We can't do that this week, so the rotor will the agenda on the rotor will change slightly, and we'll be able to give you updates next week when we know the draw. Sean, if we don't do this show, Sean will do something live for you on the show via over in LA, and then we'll just come back do our match bets during the week. But we'll keep you posted on the Twitter account, let you know what's happening, and whatever you won't miss a thing here on Game Bet Match. Sean, have a very safe journey, and
Thank you.
I
You
will
too.
speak to you next week. And you've got some going to beat my wheels today, so make sure you get that $1 bus
I will.
sorted out. All right. Take care, everyone. Good luck with your bets, and good luck. And we'll speak to you all again next week when the big tennis tournaments start across in the USA. Take care.